Hey friends, Marcus Sheridan here. Welcome to the Digital Sales Mastery Series. We're going to be together over the coming weeks, sharing with you some really powerful, proven digital sales techniques and principles that you can apply, I promise, with your team, not just for the sales team, but for the marketing side of the business as well. You're going to see it affects both. And so what do you say we just jump into it right now? We're going to start with what we call assignment selling. Assignment selling is a technique that I have now taught to sales teams all over the world. It works very well, but I want to give you the background, talk about what it is and how it applies to you. So stay with me, I promise it'll be worth it. Okay, so where does it start? Started with my swimming pool company. I might not know this, but I have a swimming pool company that became the most trafficked swimming pool company in the world through this framework of They Ask, You Answer. And in 2014, I said, okay, I want to understand something. What's the difference between those that fill out a form and don't buy versus those that fill out a form and do buy? And what was interesting is I compared both groups of leads, and this is what I found. The number 30 kept jumping out underneath the group that had bought. In other words, if somebody read 30 or more pages of the website before the initial sales appointment, the closing rates were roughly 80%. And if they didn't hit that magical number 30, the closing rates were roughly 25%. So I said, my goodness. It's just a matter of if I can get someone to read 30 or more pages of the website before the initial sales appointment, they're going to buy 80% of the time. Awesome. Now, conceptually, this sounds pretty simple, right? There's nothing groundbreaking about this, but here's one of the huge problems we have in our space. What happens is constantly marketing departments are producing content. Oftentimes, sales departments don't even know that content exists. Not good. And they're certainly not integrating it into the sales process. Well, when we discovered the Power 30, we became very, very intentional in our sales process with the way we use the content that marketing was producing. And so I want to show you how this assignment selling sounds, what it looks like. I want you to see exactly how to do it effectively. Okay? So, used to be that if somebody would reach out to us and say, hey, I'm checking out your website. Could you come out to my house and give me a quote for a swimming pool? We'd say, yeah, sure. We wouldn't ask a whole bunch of questions. And obviously, many of our appointments weren't very effective because they just didn't know. They weren't very educated. So we changed that around and it now sounded like this. And so hopefully you're going to see how we use this and you can just replace whatever I'm saying for your product, your service, you understand, just put your thing in there. So today it might sound something like this. Somebody calls us up and says, hey, Marcus, I'm checking out your website. Could you come out to my house this Friday and give me a quote for a pool? And now, instead of just saying, yeah, sure, we'll be out there, here's what we say. Yes, we'd love to come out to your house and give you a quote for a pool, but you're getting ready to spend a lot of money. And if you're going to spend a lot of money, I know you don't want to make any mistakes. And so as to make sure you don't make any mistakes, here's what we're going to do. As we're talking on the phone right now, I'm going to send you a couple things that you're really going to find valuable. So the first thing I'm going to send you is a video that shows you the entire install process. In other words, the pool showing up to your house, going into the ground, patio going around it, to clean up the whole nine. This way, when I come out to your house on Friday, you're not going to say, so Marcus, what does this process look like? You're already going to know. Time out. That just saved me 30 minutes. My sales appointment. Now, the second thing I'm going to send you is a guide. This guide's great because it's going to answer many of the questions that you have about pools that nobody has been willing to address. Like, should I get a heater with my pool? What's the best type of heater? Should it be gas? Should it be electric? Should it heat and cool the water? Should it be solar? Should I get a cover? What's the best type of cover? Should it be mesh? Should it be solid? Should it be automatic? Should it be solar? You see, this guide, it's a little bit long. It's about 30 pages, but I promise it'll be well worth your time. Will you take the time to review these things before our appointment on Friday? And 90% of the time, they say, sure. But because they do that, if they do the homework, I know what's going to happen. That's right, that they're going to buy roughly 80% of the time. It's just a matter of turning sales into simple mathematics. But they have to do the thing. But you notice what I didn't say. I didn't say, hey, I'm going to send you something. It'd be great if you could give it a look. The key to assignment selling is that when we're talking to the prospect on the front end, we know the content that fits them. We're going to talk about that more in the next video. But then we explain why we're asking them to do the thing. Because if we just give an assignment or just say, hey, could you do this without the why, if they don't understand what's in it for them, well, of course they're going to push back on it. Why would they want to do it? So we're going to say things like, so you don't make any mistakes, so that you see exactly what's going to happen, right? And notice I teased out some of the subject matter that was in there with them ideally thinking, okay, I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't considered that. I didn't know the answer to that. And this makes them want to actually consume the thing so that they don't make any mistakes. Now you might say, well, that's a B2C example, Marcus. It's the same thing in the B2B world. I've got an agency. People contact us and they say, hey, I think I might want to work with your agency. We have a series of pieces of content, videos, articles, etc., that we very intentionally integrate into the process before they move to the next stage so that we know if we have a conversation, it's going to be incredibly effective because the foundation is going to be there. The key to assignment selling, though, is sales teams have to be trained in this. They just don't have it automatically. They need to know where to get the content at. The content needs to be clearly helpful to them. That's the symbiotic relationship between sales and marketing. And then they need to understand how to pitch it, if you will, appropriately, the right way, so that the prospect understands the why and they get the confirmation that, yes, they're actually going to do it. That's the essence of assignment selling. And I'd ask you, please be honest, is your team, your sales team, are they doing this right now? Are they integrating content 100% of the time into the sales process? Or is that something that just the marketing department does with automation? We've got to be very intentional about this, but we've got to train them on how to do it. It works. We've seen it with B2B. We've seen it with B2C. We've seen it with service. We've seen it with product. And I'm sure, if done right, it would work for you.